or two.
Guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival. And I don't know if you guys caught the Kamala Harris interview, but apparently CNN only aired like a portion of 18 minutes out of a 41-minute interview because she's a puppet. She's reading from a script. She can't talk off the cuff. Anytime you let her talk, she can't even put a sentence together, just like Joe Biden. And Joe Biden's got excuses. Joe Biden has excuses. But I want to say this, that what this interview showed us is that it's not Kamala Harris, it's not Joe Biden, it's not an individual, okay? It's not walls. It's really a league of shadows that they're just the puppets. They, the DNC, this league of shadows, these globalists, they require a candidate and for president, but they also have people in the Republican Party, rhinos, we call them. But for their candidate for president, it has to be someone that they can control. And it turns out that this individual will never have an original idea. They will all be pushing the globalist agenda. Because if you look at Joe Biden, he was a stark contrast to his previous 1,000 years in politics, right? He chose many different things than he did previously in the history of him being a politician. He was more focused on the globalist agenda and certain ideologies that he had never been for previous, right? The other thing you have to understand is that Kamala Harris, who was his vice president, supposed to be loyal to Joe Biden, participated in a coup against Joe Biden, because I don't care what you say, it was a coup. Joe Biden was adamant he was running up until the failed assassination attempt on Donald Trump, in which turn he then bailed out after Obama came up and told him, because Obama, I believe, has a higher seat in the League of Shadows. He has a higher position of authority. And even though he is a former president, he is still one of the guys that runs things behind the scenes. Now, if you go to search out anything on Google in reference to Kamala Harris, there will all be, it'll all be good stuff, positive things. And even though she's been hidden for 4 years, she hadn't done anything. She was the border czar, never went to the border, never done anything. Now, if you look at it, it's almost like she's president currently. Joe Biden is on the beach in Delaware, we think. This could be Weekend at Bernie's. But Kamala's running the country right now. So the coup took place. She was not elected in any primaries, but she is running the United States of America at this moment. Well, her figure is, I mean, she's really not, because it's the League of Shadows. But now, if you go to Google Trump, it's all horrible things. It's negative stuff and nothing positive, nothing. And they even go as far as turning positive things Trump's doing into a negative. This is what you call election interference. It's already happening. Now, I don't know if you heard this or not. I'm sure many of you have. RFK Jr. backed out, obviously, and is backing Trump. They will not remove him from the ballots, even though he's dropped out of the race in the swing states, because what they're hoping is that he snatches up a lot of votes, hurting Trump. But really, I think it's going to hurt Kamala. But the thing is we're in a propaganda war, and this is why time and time again I talk about the power of social media. Because if you rely on mainstream media, you'll be a nut job. I was talking to this guy the other day, and he knew I was a veteran. He said, "Man, did you hear about Trump disrespecting veterans?" I said, "What? What are you talking about?" Oh yeah, man, he disrespected veterans. I read it on CNN. I said, what did he do? And I know what he was referring to because I just did a video about it the night before about the when they try to say that he disrespected the Medal of Honor, but he didn't know because they read the clickbait. You want to talk about clickbait? Mainstream media is clickbait because most people have this much of an attention span. That's why TikTok's blowing up. You don't require attention span. Flip, 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 flip. That's why I don't even use that stuff. That's why YouTube is really the best because you have to sit and watch something. It keeps you focused, listening comprehension skills, right? And so now what we have is them weaponizing the U.S. Army, of all things, against Donald Trump. And this is where propaganda is just not about creating fake news. It's about not reporting the real news or hiding the real news, and which is what happened there in 2020, during a pandemic and whatever. So, but the day prior, today, when you Google Donald Trump, it's a ton of stuff about abortion. But the day prior, it's about the Army, U.S. Army rebuking Donald Trump. U.S. Army rebuking Donald Trump. U.S. Army confirms Arlington cemetery worker pushed aside by Trump staff. Now, if you recall, Donald Trump went and paid his respects to the 13 Marines and sailors and soldier, I believe it, one soldier that was killed in the botched Afghanistan withdrawal, thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He was the only former president there. Joe Biden was on the beach in Delaware. Well, we think he was. The corpse was there. And then Kamala was MIA. We don't know. She was probably eating those pickles she bought at that convenience store. But Trump was there. Trump was there, and it was huge because Trump's there paying his respects. He's a former president, the only former president there, paying his respects to these service members that died for no good reason. Now, Biden and Harris should have been there because it was their fault. It was their fault. I mean, they probably got tomatoes thrown at them, but they should have been there, right? But at least he freaking went, right? These people that turn something in, that you have this man sitting there going to pay his respects regardless, you know? So I'm going to read a passage just from one of the articles here. Army defends Arlington Cemetery staffer pushed aside by Trump aides. I'm going to read an article so you can hear what they're saying. And not only are they throwing shots at Donald Trump, they're throwing shots at you as well. But if you just see these headlines, U.S. Army rebukes Trump campaign for incident in Arlington National Cemetery. So U.S. Army officials issued a strongly worded rebuke of Donald Trump's campaign on Thursday, and they confirmed a worker at Arlington National Cemetery was abruptly pushed aside during an altercation with members of the former president's staff. The statement was the strongest official criticism yet of Trump's controversial visit. Why is it controversial? Because he went there and Kamala and Bernie, Joe Bernie wasn't there. Bernie, Weekend at Bernie's what I'm referencing. Trump's controversial visit, which he gave a thumbs up over Graves as photo opportunity, and there was an alleged physical assault, they say, by two of his staffers on this Army official. It comes as an outrage that continued to mount from veterans and families of some of the service members buried there. Now, what they want right now is they're trying to destroy Trump's huge impact and love from the veteran and military community. They want to destroy that because they know it's strong. And they're trying to get votes. So this is what you call propaganda. Now, here we go. Another thing here. Army rebukes Trump. Blah, 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 blah. And so it goes on to say, adding pressure on the election campaign, adding pressure like he's failing or something. He's killing it. He's killing the campaign trail, by the way. The Republican presidential nominee was the Army's revelation that Trump's team was explicitly told in advance by a Defense Department official that taking photographs and video footage at the cemetery breached federal law. Oh, really? And I'm going to play a video and you can hear why. You can hear why. Said the campaign ignored the warning and filmed anyway, sparking a confrontation during the visit on Monday that one Democrat called aberrant and shameful. And on Thursday, the Trump campaign continued to aggressively insult the unnamed cemetery staff. Insult. aggressively, caught up in the altercation, who was shoved when trying to enforce the rules after learning she had declined to press charges for fear of retribution from Trump supporters. So not only is Trump an evil man, his supporters are evil too, because they're going to come with the, the pitchforks and all that, right? So let me play this clip from CNN. Just hear why, and then I'm just going to blow it out of the water for you. I'm going to blow it out of the water.
It's referring. Here is a part of this statement. Let me read this to you. Participants in the August 26th ceremony and subsequent Section 60 visit were made aware of federal laws, Army regulations, and DoD policies which clearly prohibit political activities. An Arlington National Cemetery employee who attempted to ensure adherence to these rules was abruptly pushed aside. ANC is a national shrine to the honored dead of the armed forces, and its dedicated staff will continue to ensure public ceremonies are conducted with dignity and respect. In that statement, the Army basically says the visit as it was carried out in Section 60, which is where fallen service members from Iraq and Afghanistan are buried, was a violation of federal law. That law explicitly states memorial services and ceremonies at Army National Military Cemeteries will not include partisan political activity.
There you go. Partisan political activity. Was this a partisan political activity, or was this Donald Trump going to go pay respects? Because he's talked to all these families prior to this, by the way. After it happened, he called all these family members. Was that a political stunt? Maybe. But the fact is, he freaking called them. He didn't have to. And that's just a few people. Is he going to win an election by calling a few people? No, he probably genuinely cares.
That's where they say the visit violated federal law. But afterwards, a member of the Trump campaign also suggested the Arlington employee with which this altercation happened was, quote, a despicable individual, and someone even suggested that she might have mental health issues. Here, the Army stood by their employee, praising her professionalism.
She had mental health. So while they're saying that, is Stephen Chung, a former president, Trump's communication officer, said the employee was experiencing some type of Trump derangement syndrome. A day earlier, he claimed the person was mentally ill. So the thing is the Trump derangement syndrome is true. I've seen it myself. I've seen people with it. Like, you can't even talk logic to them. And Yuri Bezdomov talked about this, about how the country would be destroyed, in which it is. We should have been paying attention to Yuri. You know what I mean? Man, I'm even at fault. Man. I've seen a lot of guys throughout my life, even when I was a young boy. And I seen guys talking about these serious issues, and I thought they were kooks, just like most people did. I'm not the only one. But, I mean, not that I could really do anything as a boy, but I might have could have said and done something sooner. The problem is that a lot of people knew this, but a lot of people were asleep to it, including myself. And I've told you the story many times. What got me is whenever I saw the propaganda, I saw it firsthand. But going on with this, they said it couldn't be a political, partisan, this and that. But Joe Biden actually did this in 2020, man, right here. He made a video of him standing over a tomb in Section 60 at Arlington. But the Army had nothing to say about it at that time, because apparently the U.S. Army is a puppet for the Democrat regime. I don't even think we can call it a party anymore. We got to come up with something else. But the biggest thing, I think, the biggest takeaway from this issue, and that is so serious to us, and we've been talking about the U.S. military quite a bit, that it has become a woke propaganda machine. It really has. And they're weaponizing the U.S. military against Trump. Now, the same thing happened in colleges, universities, back 30, 40 years ago. It's been going on till right now. I don't think it just started today, 2-3 years ago. This has been going on a very long time. If you talk to anybody that's been in college for the past 20, 30 years, they'll tell you about the feminism movement, all these sort of things, this propaganda they got pushed, anti-God, Jesus Christ. You had professors up there getting just violent about you mentioning you believe in Jesus Christ. These sort of things have been happening in universities. Well, now they took that same doctrine and moved over to the U.S. military. Talk to any young soldier, sailor, Marine, airman that's currently serving, and they'll tell you about the propaganda that they're getting fed within serving in the military. Something that's supposed to be patriotic. They're training them to be so anti-patriotic. Why, you ask? Well, whenever the breakdown truly comes in America, and people say all the time, "Will the U.S. military stand up?" No, because they'll already be brainwashed by then, or they'll have gotten rid of all those guys, kind of like they did with the coal. I don't know if you understand that word. Maybe you do. Maybe it's a common term, but in fishing, you coal fish. Like in a tournament, you take out the lightest one, you catch a heavier one and change it, so you coal it. So they coal the good patriotic people during the pandemic. They did quite a bit like that. Now, the thing is that what do you have left with, right? A lot of people that adhered to the propaganda. I'm not saying if you're serving in the U.S. military that you adhere to it, because I know lots of guys that are currently serving that I talk to on a regular basis, that they're so anti it. And we got to have good guys there. We do have to have good guys there. So if you're still there and you're hanging in there, man, and you made that personal decision to stay there, good for you, because we need good people in there. We can't just have all of them indoctrinated, corrupt-minded people. But they're weaponizing the U.S. military against political. They've weaponized the FBI and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But how many countries have started to show their collapse is intimate just by this very thing, when they started weaponizing the U.S. military? Because they're not going to leave it up to the vote anymore. And what's crazy is I saw a video or listened to a interview with the world's most smartest living person, and it was this guy. I think his name's Chris something. You can Google it, but he's has the highest IQ living guy. He was like a bouncer, rancher, this and that, but he has the highest IQ. Like he could do like thermophysics, if that's even a thing. Like, and he's not been educated in it. Like he'd read it and figure it out. But he talked about voting and how he said that this leaving things up to a vote is not sustainable. It's crazy. But he says not sustainable because there's too many things involved that can be corrupted. So I think we're seeing that. And to me, man, I don't even know that Kamala will be the candidate. I really don't. I think there's going to be a September surprise. I really do. Because Walz was a bad pick. They did not do a background check on that dude at all. They fouled up with that one. But we're definitely living in a new realm of tyranny. Not even a few weeks ago, we had Secret Service that fumbled. Trump got shot in the ear, luckily, only the ear, luckily, and not KIA'd him. But so many unanswered things with that. I did a video on that the other day. So many unanswered things. And let me just point out one thing too. Someone sent me something about it was not the same rifle. There's two different pictures with the rifle, because the buttstock is shot off on one side, another side it's not. It's because it's collapsed. So you see the buffer tube component there. It was collapsed on the second photo. So I guess to show they could fit in a backpack. And to me, that was propaganda to say, oh man, AR-15s, you can put them in backpacks that can be easily hidden, broke down and hidden. But we have the FBI fabricating cases, right? Making up stuff. Weaponizing the DOJ. Weaponizing the ATF. Want to take your guns away. They're showing up like old buddy from Arkansas. No Not Raid came in his house, blasted him from the back of the head. How that happened, I don't know. And no questions. Just, well, it's normal. It's normal. That's the scary thing, because when you're on the receiving end of what's normal, that's the scary thing. We have the same thing with the USDA. USDA wants to know about your farm in your backyard, or your garden in your backyard. They don't want you to vaccinate your own animals. They want to do it, that you have to take them somewhere to do it. Why? Why is that? They want complete control of everything. They want to know if you're growing those tomatoes in the backyard. They want to know if you're self-sufficient. The FDA pulling products right and left. The FDA favoring big pharmaceutical companies. Have you heard that a lot of these pharmaceutical companies are paying FDA? They're paying it. How is that even legal? How is that even legal? But they're doing it. They're doing it. They're funding the FDA. So they're getting what's called kickbacks, right? They're removing products from the market, right? Like NMN. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but this other one let me just mention this other one. This one called BPC 157. BPC 157 is something that you put, like, let's say you have a tendon tear and you can put in your arm, inject it direct in the spot where it's hurt, your knee, or they won't clinical trial, but there's been enough anecdotal evidence that meaning that people doing it themselves and it works tremendously. It heals people. It could change the world, but they pulled it. You can't get it. You can get it from the underground, but you can't get it. Now they said, "Oh, I hadn't been through the approvals." Back in 2020, man, they did some emergency stuff back then. You get what I'm saying? But it's clear our government agencies have been weaponized against Trump, against you as well. IRS is coming. I hate to see it. It's scary. The Tea Party, when the Tea Party existed, they used the IRS. Obama himself weaponized the IRS against them. Oh, Obama, yeah, he did. He did. Google it. They got big payout, right? But it's just like going to the NMN. I just heard this freaking good news. I guess it's good news. It's a fight, right? Black Forest Supplement and all those guys are suing the FDA. So finally somebody's doing something. FDA faces new lawsuit from NPA over anti-aging ingredient NMN. Why? Not because it's not safe or its efficacy. It's because these are the same greedy, evil people that want to install a puppet president and give you more pills, right? I told you this thing the other day about they don't make hotel rooms, right? If the hotel rooms aren't filled, you don't make money if you own a hotel. If the hospital rooms are empty, they don't make money. They need you there. So you think they want you healthy? So NMN, which is a legit reverse aging, not even anti-aging. Testosterone replacement therapy is anti-aging. NMN is reverse aging. And they want to put it behind a prescription drug paywall because it'll be too expensive to afford. All the good things are too, man, you can go down there as a chick and say, "Hey, I need some testosterone because I feel like a guy," and they'll give it to you. Let some 50-year-old man go down there and say, "Dude, I'm tired, doc. Can you check my test?" And you got the test of a 90-year-old man. Oh, man, you're good. Good. That's where we are. NMN works. I've showed the Harvard studies on it. Reduced weight, cholesterol, blood pressure. Wrinkles gone. My wrinkles are gone. I actually looked at a photo the other day because I always talk about this, but I looked at a photo from back October last year. And dude, I had those deep. Y'all are making fun of me. Some of y'all. Deep. Y'all said I like a 60-year-old man. Had those deep wrinkles because I didn't wear sunglasses for a very long time, which was probably a good thing. Let me go down this rabbit hole for a minute. I didn't wear sunglasses my whole life until when I was in the Marines. Oakley came on base, gave us a deal, and all the cool guys were at Oakley, so I bought a pair of Oakleys and I started wearing them because they're cool. And then I got so used to them. Now I'm photophobic, so I can't be in bright lights. Like right now, these lights are blinding. That's why people are like, "Why are you blink so much?" Because I'm getting blinded. I like to sit in the dark. I'll wear sunglasses all the time, sometimes even indoors if it's too bright. But with not wearing sunglasses, I don't know if you know this, but your eyes, with the sun is how you don't get burned. Like I never got burned my whole life until I started wearing sunglasses and I started getting burned because your body adapts to the sun. Anyway, rabbit hole. But NMN is a vital functioning part. It's a natural thing. Why would you do this? Because it converts to NAD plus in the body. And it's the only thing that I know that is really reverse aging. I've taken a lot of stuff. I've tried a lot of things. I've tried peptides and all those other things. NMN has been the only thing that has ever done it. The fact the FDA is fighting it so much, because they're not even fighting these other things as much as they do NMN. It just shows you that, you know, I've been taking it, I think, a year and a half, something like that. Year. I don't know. But it's changed my life. I feel young. Blood works phenomenal. All these sort of things. But luckily, Black Force is suing them. I wish all these other companies would take the suit, man. I even thought about taking it to the social media companies. Really, that's what we need to do, go towards social media companies. But anyway, with that, I asked Black Force if they would give my followers a special discount, because I want you to get your hands on NMN before they kick in the door at Black Force Supplements with guns, because don't think they wouldn't do something like that. But they're doing a 48-hour buy two, get two free, right? And, you know, they're obviously people that I like, because they're ready to fight. They're ready to fight, and they want to ensure that people have access to NMN. But this buy two, get two free lasts 48 hours. I always keep it, man. I always got it. And I actually just made some coffee before this video, because I've been tired and it's obviously late, with my cocoa flavonols. If you hadn't tried this, it's good stuff too. You can put in your protein shake or coffee. But there's going to be buy two, get two free, or 35% off if you subscribe to any of the other products. So they're doing a subscription too. So you can do that and get 35% off. But definitely something I tell you guys, I recommend. I want you to be strong, healthy. And this is the thing, you know, we all go through tough things in life, but you don't want your body to be one of the issues. You can put in the work now, suffer now, or suffer later, right? I want to be young, healthy. I've got young kids. I want to be healthy for a long time. I've always worried about the apocalypse or something very bad happening when I'm like up in age. Do you worry about that? Let me know in the comments. I always worry about that. I always worry about if oh man, the apocalypse is going to kick off. I'm going to be 65. Shit. You know what I mean? 70, you know. That's time you got to have a good scope, a magnified scope, pew, right? But I definitely want to know your thoughts on that. Oh yeah, one other thing. This is random, but I talked to my buddy about this one time, and I said, no, he came to me first. He said, dude, do guns ever work in your dreams? And I said, no. Why? You? He said, no. Guns never work in my dreams. They always are malfunctioning. I want to know. Let me know in the comments. Guys, I'm going to pin that link, 48 hours. Get on it. Get strong, healthy. I want to see you strong and healthy. And hopefully soon we can open up the safe house, get some people in there, maybe have some events, some seminars and things like that, so we can hang out and I can get to see you guys face to face, hang out, do some training, knowledge transfer stuff. Anyway, guys, go grab some Black Force supplements. Highly recommend it. I really use it. I'm not lying. I use it every day. You can ask anybody in my family, friends, ask the Black Force people. I really use it. And I definitely recommend it. Go grab it while you can. And guys, we're going to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.